we're gonna call this part 1 of the craft room re-makeover. So come on guys, join me and let's see what we can get done so far. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. I'm Cora, and today we're going to be working on reorganizing and redesigning and redecorating my craft room. It's been quite a while and I haven't actually been able to use my craft room because I've been using it for more so storage while I've been renovating and redecorating and redoing other various parts of the house in the home. Yeah, whatever, rooms. You know what I mean? So I've been working on a lot of different makeovers in a lot of the different rooms, and I just wanted to kind of get that all squared away before I kind of came back into here, because then I'll be working on multiple little crafts or daily DIYs or things like that that I'm going to be putting up on my YouTube channel. So I really want to get this room organized into a design and workable space that kind of makes it more efficient for me to get some of the projects that I need done. I have like an idea of what I want, and so we're going to start that concept here soon. So I have different goals in mind. I want to have one particular area that's going to be dedicated to sewing, because I do a lot of sewing. Like, for instance, I did some sewing for the teachers for back to school for my kids, and they've asked me to do some Halloween costumes for them, or character costumes for them, because they do a character parade on Halloween instead of Halloween. Anyways, and it's really cool. They do it based on books, and they're going to be the Madeline series, which is really sweet. They're going to all look like the little Madeline characters, or the little French girls walking, little French school girl. It's gonna be so cute, and I'm so excited to do those costumes for them, but I need a pretty decent workspace to get that done. So I'm starting out with taking a piece of plywood that was already cut up. It was actually used as a storm shutter during Hurricane Irma back in 2017. We were first-time homeowners and we were really nervous about this back slider area, so we ended up drilling in some plywood up against the slider glasses there to make sure that, you know, the wind didn't break them, because it was pretty weak glass. I don't think it would have sustained those strong winds we had that year. But anyways, after taking it down, I was not going to waste that plywood. It was a pretty decent piece. We used half of it for, I think, the old cat litter box that I had made, which I know a lot of you were hoping to see a DIY on that little cat bench litter box thing that we did, but sketch ended up peeing on the wood. It absorbed into the wood and it kind of ruined the whole bench. I did not want that smell in the house, so we chucked it. So the other half of some of the wood that I had left over that wasn't used for that project, though, I ended up using to make just kind of like a tabletop surface area that's just one big, long, wide top, whatever. But for now, we've just painted it and primed it, or we've just primed it with my gripper primer that I love, but I want to add like an epoxy coat to the top of that, and then I'll design some sort of legs or something for underneath. I think that one's a little thicker too, which is even better. That's perfect. That's exactly what I needed. Yes. Oh, it's the Irma! Irmageddon 2017. I'll insert a clip of what that's from. That was like boarded onto our back sliders. So basically it doesn't look like I did anything, but I did decide that this surface was a lot less rough and textured. So even though it's going to be kind of harder to cover up the lettering here, I'm going to go ahead and prime this with my gripper paint. I'm going to see if my daughter wants to help because she loves to paint. So we're going to just go ahead and prime this piece with the gray gripper paint for now, and then we'll do like epoxy and detail and stuff later on. So let's just get this sucker primed and make it a working space that I can use for now. Take that and roll it out.
Roll it. Oh my god, it's so satisfying. Oh god, no, Mom. I'm gonna get that off. I'm a banana. I'm a banana. Banana. I'm a banana.
So while my mini-me helps me finish painting this and singing the banana song, I ended up driving her nuts singing Gwen Stefani's Bananas, B-A-N-A-N-A-S. We finished priming this using my gripper primer that was tinted in gray, and then it was off to finish a different project. And for now, I'm just using some storage bins to hold it up, but whatever. We at least got the area cleaned up. I need to accumulate all of my craft supplies that I have and really look at what I have and what type of a design or workable storage space that I need. And I think I'm gonna just custom build a unit to store all of the things I need so that it looks nice and neat and really accommodates my needs. And that way I'm not just kind of buying random gits and gadgets and it doesn't all go together and it's not cohesive. I want to use what I already have. I really want to make this renovation and this makeover on a $0 budget. I want to only work with what I have on hand. I've been collecting enough stuff to this point that I shouldn't necessarily need to purchase anything. So fingers crossed, let's at least get it started. All right guys, this is the mess that is my project room at the moment. I've got a whole bunch of just stuff I've been kind of hoarding in here out of the cabinets that I've been cleaning and such. All of the kids in my shoes are all down here, some of my equipment, and then this table that I need to either repurpose, redo, or sell. So I'm not sure yet what's gonna happen there. So as you guys can see here, I can't even work in there right now. Like, that's the current condition. I literally cannot work in this mess. We don't even use the front door area anymore. We've been using the garage. That's just that. So those shoes and all that stuff, everything kind of stays there, and then there's that. So like I mentioned, I need to really just kind of declutter and really get everything organized. This room has been more of a storage kind of shove off space because I've been working on other rooms in the house. So the first thing I'm doing is kind of clearing up a lot of the surface areas, putting things away with like items. So like paint goes with paint, kids' toys can all go in the kids' rooms or whatever. And then I'm gonna put like fabrics with fabrics, kids' crafts and utensils and stuff like that all together, stencils together. All that, whatever. I'm gonna wipe down the table, and then I'm gonna use the table to kind of organize another section, if that makes sense. I also have the other little table that I'm going to be repainting later on, and I need to get that cleaned off because my son was playing Play-Doh with it, and he had this brown Play-Doh that he left open, and it crumbled and dried up, and it is disgusting and caked on all over my table. It's gross. So I need to figure out how to get that cleaned up and then remake that table. So you'll see that in just a second.
What's up, my sketch? Hi, buddy.
This table is in such rough shape, you guys. I don't even know how to explain it. There's, I think, oatmeal caked on this, which I found. I can't even explain it. I don't know. Don't judge me. Whatever. It's just been sitting here in my project room, and then when the Play-Doh got caked onto it and dried up, I was just like, oh my God, hide it under the table. Don't let anybody see this mess. Look at this. There are like gummy wrappers. Who knows how long that has been sitting there in this room. It is disgusting. I have no excuse, you guys. Come at me. Go for it. All right. So getting this all cleaned up, scraping the corners as best as I could, soaking it on with the Mrs. Meyer's because that is my go-to for cleaning everything, and then I'm just going to paint it. It is what it is. It is originally colored in the silver lining chalk paint that I get from Walmart in the craft section, which is amazing and beautiful, but I think I want to redo it with a white base this time because I'm kind of lightening up a little bit of the tones. I have so much gray and black going on that I'm wanting to kind of contrast that with a little bit of the white. So now that I've got that all done and cleaned up, I am sweeping the area, cleaning up my area, and just making sure I have enough workspace to get started on this project. So I'm going to be working on 2 kind of projects throughout this, so I'll explain that in just a second. Before I get started working on any projects like building anything or repainting anything, I need to reorganize some of the way the area is in here. So I want to move Sketch's cat litter box. I'm finding all kinds of things that aren't even opened that probably could be used while I'm at it also. But I also want to move this little bench seat that's under the table. So first I'm going to be cleaning up the area, move Sketch's cat litter box, which if you watch my vlogs, you'll understand he's having issues. So he has his own cat litter box, which I'll find a new home for it. But for now, it's going over here. So I went and I washed up, and now I am sweeping. I'm going to mop, break my mop, which you'll see in just a moment because I'm scrubbing it so hard. And then I want to pick up this little bench that's underneath the window and move that and kind of just redesign and reuse some of these pieces in a different way. So as you just saw there, even my music was speaking to me, and it knew I was going to be pretty desperate in the moment and was going to use this little Swiffer no matter what. And I got that section mopped up. I moved over a little shelf. I needed to remove some of this Tupperware and get some of the stuff out of this back corner. I realized there was a couple pieces of flooring that I forgot I needed to finish before I put the trim back. So that needs to get handled. And then I need to figure out some new storage thing. Now I have these storage pieces that I picked up from, I believe it was like Target or Dollar General or something. It was really cheap. I believe it was Target actually, for like 10 or 15 bucks a piece. And then the big one was like 22. It was pretty decent price. And I realized I could stack them up. So I thought I would try that configuration, see how it looked. I'm not so sure, so I undo it later and I'm gonna see how that looks going underneath the window. But I need to again move some other storage pieces, so I'm just kind of messing around with the way things look. That is a big thing that I do. Sometimes I just step back into a room and just see what it looks like, what I'm going for, and what I still need to do. And I'll move things probably 18 times into different areas and different spots just to see how I like it. Like this is going over here, but later it's going back. It's all just a part of my process. Something that I like to do is just sit in the middle of a room and just kind of visualize the space. My husband has walked in on this a couple of times. He's questioned it, like, what are you doing? Staring into nothing. He's like, are you spacing out? Is everything okay? But really, I'm just sitting there closing my eyes and visualizing the functionality of it. Is it going to have a nice flow? Is it going to have a nice background, nice camera settings and everything? Because this is not only my workspace and where I get my projects done, but it's also going to be my major filming area for my channel. So yeah, I decided to move this table out for now so that I can work more easily. This particular table is one that I actually picked up from like a church charity thing that they were selling. It was like 20 bucks and I repainted it. There's a video on my channel where I did a granite top to it and then I compared two different epoxy tops. So you'll notice one of the sides of that table is like a little more yellow than the other. So if you watch any of my epoxy channels, you understand there are some issues with some yellowing. So some experiments I were doing, I did one on this particular table and I had an update on that one on my favorite DIY product video where I also talked about yellowing on epoxy. So if you're interested in that or you need any info on that, I'll link that above and put it on a little card here too. But anyways, I ended up moving the bench that was underneath the window and I lifted that up. I put it over there. I'm going to end up moving my pegboard over too. And then I have this picture frame that I decided I'm going to hang it up and use it as kind of like a whiteboard. So just finding ways to use different things that I haven't really used them in a way before, if that makes sense. And then I'm going to find a really secretive way to store and hide all of those bins. So all of this stuff is going to remain in the room, but you're not going to know it's there. So that's the goal anyways. Moving forward, there are a couple of things that I do need to redo, like the black shelving unit here and the table and stuff that I'm building for my projects. So that's stuff that I will work on in the end of this video and into part 2 of a video. So look forward to that. Alright, so I have this idea to kind of hide all of the stuff that's down below here. I'm thinking about stacking it up in this corner here and then having the bookcase go catty corner in the corner to kind of hide all of it behind there. Because, I mean, the space is already taken up back there anyways, like this whole corner is useless to me. So I might as well have it be storing stuff and look more aesthetically pleasing. And then that gives me that wall to put something, or like a little station for that wall. I'll still have a little area over here to make a station, and then I have over there to make a station. And then I want to build, I think, a movable island piece just like that we have in the kitchen. I want to do one for in here, so I'm going to find like a smaller sized dresser that we might have and put it on wheels. I'll do an epoxy top to it to give it that marble look, which I'll show you or insert a link for that. So that is the idea for now. So I'm going to temporarily move this piece of plywood that Ashton and I painted. It's the one that we primed out in the garage, and I'm actually going to cut that piece down and use that as the top and the base for a cart that I'm going to actually build. So instead of finding a dresser and turning it into an like an island thing like we did with the kitchen island, which that was a whole video. It was a Facebook marketplace dresser that we turned into a kitchen island, and I'll link that also for you guys. If you go check it out on my channel, you'll find like pretty much everything that is in my house has been a DIY video. Like even these bookcases here, they used to be a brown wood color, which you'll see in a before picture, and I painted them white, and I love it. But as you can see here, I am just putting all of this storage in the back. I am neatly stacking it all up nice and organized, and the reason I'm not putting this stuff in the attic is because a lot of it is stuff that I actually use on a regular basis, but I don't want it out as an eyesore on a regular basis, if that makes sense. So for instance, if I'm painting a room, one of these buckets has literally all the paint supplies that I need, from trays and blankets and protection and rollers, paint brushes, wraps, tape, everything you can imagine, all in one thing. So it's easy and convenient to just go grab that tub and I'm ready to get to work. So as you can see here, I've started to kind of push the dresser or the bookcase into place, and it's really coming together. It looks so much better. Okay, so there's enough space back here, amazingly enough, to actually, I think, fit the rest of the flooring that I'm storing. That rhymed. I'm a poet. Didn't you know it? Let's go ahead and put this stuff back there. So what we'll do is we'll make this like our little access point. I'm gonna see if we can get back here. Everything held up by safety pins. Ow! Poke myself. Like perfect storage. So I'm gonna store the rest of the stuff I'm not using back here as well. So you'll see me just coming back and forth in between there putting stuff. That's what I'm doing. Okay, so this little shelf here that I'm moving is also something that was on a video, and I decided to put my pegboard up above there. I'm trying this little frame here, which is the one that I'm going to use as a whiteboard later, but I actually don't want it here. I actually kind of want the pegboard in the background where it has all of my supplies and some of the new items and stuff that haven't been used yet, kind of as like a display, and then I want to put this somewhere else as like a command station. So this is just me trying stuff here, not quite sure, and then here's the pegboard, which I just hung up with monkey hooks. If you aren't sure what monkey hooks are, check out my living room makeover video where I hang shelves and stuff with that. Monkey hooks are amazing, but so far, here's a little half 360 of what I'm working with. Today we're going to be working on a makeover of this table, and not just any makeover, a re-makeover. As you can see here, I have hand painted or custom done this kind of purplish tone, lilac, whatever you want to call it, lavender, kind of a checkered look here on this years ago, but originally this piece was found on the curb. That's right, I was just driving along one day and I saw this sucker on my way home from Carline, and I stuck it in the back of the car. Yeah, I don't know how. It was a miracle. Anyway, solid wood. I mean, heavy as hell. It is in great condition, and something really cute about it is I left some of the original coloring that was on it when I got it, because I mean, those are somebody's memories. That's some kid's memories, and I just thought it was super sweet, so I left it. And I mean, probably will still leave it. I think I'll preserve that specific area. I'm going to refinish it. I think it's going to get just a whole new makeover on the legs. They just need kind of refinishing. As you can see, over the time it's gotten dirty and stained, and people's feet just stuck and played and sat in gunk and all kinds of crap. So that's what we're gonna do. And onto the top, I'm going to be doing that marble epoxy effect that everybody loves, because epoxy seems to be what everybody wants to see. So I thought doing a, like, I don't know if you want to do this as a living room table or a coffee table, or I don't know. We could even do an added top to it that can be put on to it in sections that has like, maybe like from here to here, a little wood plank that has some cushion onto it so that it can be used to slide back and forth and adjusted however somebody would like, in case they wanted it to be like a soft ottoman for your feet, and then have a side to do like a board game and have your wine or something. I don't know. Maybe not at the same time, but you know what I mean. So let's get started. Just want to give you some shots of it up close. What we're working with. Yeah, pretty grimy. But the hand painting part, I painted all those squares, and then I went through and I hand did this with a white like marker pen. And this was years ago when my son was itty bitty. Is that oatmeal? Gross. So it needs a lot of work. It has like a polyacrylic coat on top that was sealed, but on the bottom I don't think I ever sealed it. There's some crayon marks. But yeah, I don't believe I ever sealed it, so lots of wear and tear. I was originally going to sell this piece, but then I had put so much work into it. I loved it. I couldn't get rid of it, so yeah. It's just such a sturdy, beautiful piece. Okay, so in all honesty, all I did was wipe down the top and make sure that I got all the gunk off of it, and then I didn't do anything to prep the bottom, no sanding, no nothing. I'm just going right over it with chalk paint. That is why I love chalk paint so much. Again, the previous color on this, if you like it, was called Silver Lining. It is actually one of my favorite chalk paint colors to use. I am, however, trying to just lighten things up a bit, and I wanted to go white on the base for this because I'm going to be doing a really white base kind of a marble effect on the inside of this on the next video, part 2. So you'll get to see the finished look in part 2. So part 1 here is just me kind of prepping everything because the epoxy portion kind of takes a little bit, and I really wanted to kind of make that a video in its own. So part 2 is going to be me finishing up the top part of this, doing the epoxy into the center, and then I'm going to finish building the little cart thing that I start at the end of this video. So you'll see that in just a moment where we get started on that. I'll show you the design, like my idea that I have, which I just kind of sketched up. It's not to scale or anything. I just kind of had this idea in my head, and I was like, let me see if I can build this with just the scraps that we have. I am going to have to buy the little wheels and a couple of accessories, but for the most part, I have everything I need. We're looking for some lumber to make a countertop sort of thing for my project room, and this board is full-size plywood, but luckily we have one right over here that's already cut in half. So as you recall earlier, Ashton and we ended up painting and priming that one long piece, so Cole just went ahead and cut that in half for me, and then we have some of these other little like spare pieces that we cut down to size, and he is pre-drilling some holes for me so that the boards don't split because they're so thin. I didn't want the screws to split the board, so he's just pre-drilling that while I hit on him. And then we are going to trace around the edges where I want it to go so I can kind of get a center hole, and then he drills up through there with the screw, and then we lined it up and then finished screwing it in. So we did the top and the bottom so far. However, it's not as strong and sturdy as I would have liked, but I knew that that was going to be the case. So we need to after we put the top on, it is a little bit more sturdy, but I'm going to be doing 2 more legs in the middle to make another shelf, and then I'm going to be adding a couple of other like bracing type style legs. So yeah.
Burn a hole.
I'm not an expert at this. It's not my job. Now for a quick and traumatizing recap of what it looked like before. Yes, I am embarrassed, but this is the reality of what I was living with, and now this is a little bit better. This is what I'm kind of working with now. I have adjusted and moved a few things around, but for the most part, it is a much more workable space. I'm going to refinish and redo the top of this table here because it has 2 different type epoxies, and then I'm going to sell that table. But other than that, this is it, guys. Let me know what you think down below, and I'll see you on the next video, which will be part 2 when I finish up these projects. Just out of curiosity, guys, wondering if you guys would be interested in a flooring video that's installing laminate flooring throughout an entire home with seamless transitions. Let me know if that's something that interests you guys. All right, bye.